Emotional intelligence can be learned, and this is the good news. Unlike IQ, which doesn't change from birth, it's really an index of how quickly the brain can learn. Every emotional intelligence skill is learned and learnable. Children start to learn it, when you're an infant and your mom or your dad picks you up when you're crying and helps you calm down, that's a lesson in emotional intelligence. We learn it through life. If someone who's a leader has a deficiency, say in empathy or in managing their emotions, whatever it may be, that person can be helped. But first, you have to know, do you care? So the first question is, do you care? Do you really want to put in the time and effort it's going to take? If you don't, you should stop right there. Second, a person needs a good understanding of how others perceive them so that they can know what are my strengths, what are the places I could improve. Third, you need to make an understanding with yourself, something like a personal contract, that once you've chosen what you want to work on, say becoming a better listener, you're going to, every time you have a naturally occurring opportunity, you're going to practice that skill. I'm going to stop what I'm doing, I'm going to forget my train of thought and focus on the other person, listen well. And then the fourth step is to practice that at every opportunity that comes along. If you do that for 3 or 4 months, you'll find a moment comes when you do the better thing, the new way, without having to think about it. And that means that your brain has changed. You've made stronger connections for this new way of doing things, and that will stay with you for life. Actually, the most reliable method for detecting emotional intelligence is a work simulation, a challenge to the person to handle a problem on the spot, to help 2 people settle a disagreement, for example. There's some companies that actually set up situations. They'll hire actors to have a disagreement and ask the candidate to help them settle it. So others will set up a work simulation, which is a highly stressful scenario. So the person has to handle that scenario on the spot. Another way to do it during the interview is to ask someone to describe a time they made a terrible mistake and they had a setback, not their most successful moment, but a big failure, and how they handled it and what they would have needed to be better at it. This gives you some sense of whether they have insight, whether they have self-awareness. If you look at the best leaders, the best performers, top 10% in results, the gender differences disappear. The men are as empathic as the women are as self-confident, good at managing emotions as the men. So the better we get at what we need to improve on, the more those gender differences disappear. First, they need to understand that the first responsibility of any leader is to lead themselves. And this takes emotional intelligence. It takes self-awareness. It takes knowing how to manage your distressing emotions so they don't get in the way of your getting your work done. And also knowing how to marshal your positive emotions, how to keep your eyes on the goal and stay with that and feel good about trying to get there, even when things are difficult. Every leader needs that. The second thing is understanding how other people feel. This is another part of emotional intelligence. Tuning into the people who you're leading, knowing what their hopes are, what their fears are, how they think about things, how they're feeling. This is going to allow you to be a better communicator, better able to influence, to guide, which is, of course, the core task of leadership. So every leader needs to know that emotional intelligence is what helps everybody work at their best.